I want to talk to you in this video about how to be proactive. Now, proactivity is an expression that we hear in management quite a bit in productivity circles. It's a phrase that was made popular, or at least that I got to know from the author Steve Covey in his book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And in that book, Steve Covey talks about there are two kinds of people in the world. I mean, of course, it's all on a spectrum, but there are two kinds of people primarily in the world. One is reactive and the other are proactive. And sometimes in order to understand proactivity is good to understand it in relationship to its opposite. So I'm going to talk about the two here at the beginning of this video so that you grasp an understanding of what proactivity is. So by definition, a reactive person is a person who blames other people in the world for their current condition, for their life. That's what a reactive person is. A proactive person, on the other hand, is a person who is committed to the conclusion that their current condition is their responsibility, and they're also responsible for creating the condition that they desire in life. So you already can see the difference between the two, the proactive person and the reactive person. To understand this further, what I'm going to do is I'm going to also share with you 5 distinct hallmarks or distinguishing hallmarks for these two. A reactive person, for example, is one who responds directly to every stimulus that is in their life. Someone yells at them, verbally assaults them, they're gonna yell back at that person, verbally assault the person. There was a stimulus, I responded. There's mostly instinctive response from a reactive person. A proactive person, on the other hand, someone yells at them, they separate stimulus from response and make a choice in terms of how they will respond. They have a greater freedom over in exercising the kind of choices they make. Whereas the reactive person, there's no choice. I mean, it's just instinctive. It's just how they're wired, right? Proactive person, someone yells at them, they say, well, I have a choice in themselves to say, I have a choice in terms of how I respond. Yeah, I can yell back at them, but what good does that do, right? Both of us will have a yelling match. But I can also kind of de-escalate the situation, see what's really going on, and take the situation to a higher level, right? In terms of elevating, making this person better for whatever the issues are that made them to yell at me. So a proactive person think in those terms of the freedom to choose what their response will be. There's stimulus, there's freedom to choose, and then for them there is response. So that's the difference between a proactive and a reactive person. And then a reactive person also waits for things to happen to them. Right? They know that the month is going to end and rent is going to be here pretty soon, and they just complain and whine about it until the month ends and rent is due. Or, the economy is going to get bad. They know that, do nothing about it. They just complain until that day comes upon them and it impacts and change their situation in a negative manner. The proactive person, on the other hand, is someone who make things happen for themselves. And so that person hears that, the economy is going to become bad. And so what they're doing now is asking themselves, what do I need to do to ensure that I can benefit from this bad economy? Because they realize that it's possible to benefit from a bad economy. And so you see the difference between two people. One person just sits and complains complain about it, and it comes and washes over them. And the other person says, oh, maybe this is a wave. I can ride this wave instead of be washed out by this wave, right? And so the reactive person is washed out by the wave, even though he knew it was coming. The proactive person rides the wave, and so that's the second differential hallmark between the reactive person and the proactive person. Third one is they talk differently, they talk differently. The reactive person talk in such a way that you can tell that outside forces are shaping their lives. So they will say things like, if only I had a more patient wife, my life would be happy. The proactive person said, what can I do in my marriage to work along with my wife to ensure that we have a more happy family or a more happy marriage, right? And so the focus there is totally different. The focus there is totally different. The reactive person will focus, their language will always reflect that the problem is outside of them. The proactive person will always reflect a sense of initiative, a sense of responsibility, a sense of agency is what that will reflect. The fifth one is that the reactive person focuses on what they cannot control. Right? They focus on all the things they cannot control. They can't control the weather, but they focus on that. They can't control the economy. They focus on that. They can't control other people, but the life is focused on how those other people are impacting who they are. The proactive person focuses on what he can control. Himself, the things that he or she is able to do and to handle. Those are the things that the proactive person focuses on. The fifth one is the reactive person. The reactive person focuses on what they're missing in their life. If only I had this, I will be this, right? If only I had enough money, my life is going to be great, right? But the proactive person does not focus on what they don't have. They focus on what they have and how can they develop what they have in order to achieve or acquire what they do not have. And so whether it is self-development, whether it is, how do I deploy my limited resources so that it expands over time, it is what the proactive person focuses on. Now, so these 5 hallmarks gives you, plus the definition, gives you a better idea of what a proactive person is, especially in relationship to a reactive person. So now, let me give you the 6 things that you need to do. And I call them the 6 shifts you need to do. If you find yourself in the reactive pile, what are the 6 shifts you need to make that will cause you to become a proactive person? Number 1, you have to shift responsibility. Yes, it is not you need to shift responsibility from your DNA. You need to shift responsibility from your parents. My parents didn't do this when I was growing up. They didn't do that when I was growing up. They did this to me. And because of that, I'm the way they are. I'm the way that I am. You need to shift the responsibility from, your things that are happening in your environment that you have absolutely no control over. You need to shift the responsibility from these things and you shift it to yourself. And say that if my life will change, I'm responsible for it. I'm responsible for my current condition. The beauty of shifting that responsibility is that it takes power away from other people, your power to change, your power of transformation. It takes it away from other people and brings it back to you. It gives it back to you. Anyone who's blaming anybody or anything for the condition has surrendered their power to those people and to those things. But the moment you take responsibility, you reclaim the power of transformation in your life. First thing you need to do is to make that shift from blaming others to being personally and fully responsible for where you are right now and where you're going. Listen, if that trauma happened when you were 8, now you are 50 something. Okay? You cannot continue to blame what happened to you in the past for your life now. That happened yesterday. You had nothing to do with it. But today, you have everything to do with your healing and with your flourishing. Take that responsibility seriously. Take that responsibility from your trauma and take that responsibility into your own hands. So number one is you need to shift responsibility. Because unless you shift responsibility, you cannot change. You cannot be better. You cannot live better. Number two, you need to shift from focusing on the life you do not want to focusing on the life that you truly desire. A lot of people are focused on all of the negative things in their life. And as a result of that, they're just living in a reactive space. But you need to begin to now create the life that you truly want, the life that you truly desire. Because when you do this, what really happens to you is that you now know what your end result that you're working towards. You know what your goal is. You have a clear vision for the kind of life that you want to live. That influences how you respond to stimulus. So when something happens around you, you now step back and make a choice. If I respond to this, it takes me closer to if I respond to this in this way, it takes me closer to where I want to go. But if I respond to it in that way, then it takes me away from the vision that I have for myself. So that's why vision is so powerful in terms of you becoming a proactive person, because you know your destination. And so you can choose your response in day-to-day life in terms of how whether it takes you closer or further away from your destination. That's why number two, you have to shift from focusing on the life you don't want to focusing on the life that you do want. Number three, you need to really shift from waiting on things to happen for you to making things happen for you. Okay? Shift from what? On the one hand, waiting for things to happen to you to making things happen for you. Stop being that person who's just sitting around and just complaining about conditions, about your problems, about your situation. Become that person who draw up a clear plan of action and say, hey, this is my problem and this is what I'm going to do about it because this is the results that I'm looking for in my life. And start to take that action now. Okay. Now, because at the end of the day, shifting responsibility from other people to yourself, number one. Number two, shifting from focusing on the life you don't want to the life that you want will be just talk. If you don't take action, it will be just another discussion. It will be another talk about your problems again. If you do not take action, action changes everything. Okay, so once you've shifted the responsibility, once you design the kind of life that you want for yourself, take action to build that life. Now, take initiative and you begin to change your life. Okay, number four, shift from focusing on what you cannot control to what you can control. Guys, there are things that you will never be able to control. And if you focus on those things, you get stuck. And I see a lot of people focus on the things they cannot do and end up neglecting the things they can do. That's the wrong way to live life. The best way to live life is to focus on the things that you are able to do. Because by focusing on the things that you are able to do, you end up changing the things over time that you cannot do. I tell people I don't believe in luck. I create my own luck. I don't have power over luck. I don't have power over chance. I don't have power over blessings. But what I can do is that I can work hard enough and smart enough to position myself in such a way that opportunity flows for me. But I don't have control over the flow of opportunity. I do have control over what I can do in my life to align myself. So make that shift from focusing on the things that you cannot control to focusing on the things that you can control. Number 5, a little bit similar, but slightly different. Shift from focusing on what you do not have to developing what you do have in achieving the life that you want for yourself. Okay? Focus on developing shift from focusing on what you do not have to shift into developing what you do have in order to achieve the life that you want for yourself. And some people focus on, I don't have this, so I can't do this. I wish I had this. That's a waste of your time. It's a complete waste of your time when you do that. What you need to do is to take an inventory of what you do have. And some people will be surprised to know that they have way more than they can ever imagine. Take an inventory of what you do have and ask yourself, now, how can I put these things together and deploy them and apply them and invest them and develop them in such a way that I can achieve the life that I want to achieve? Instead of sitting here and focusing on the things that I do not have. Guys, this is called resourcefulness. People do not fail because of lack of resources. People fail because of lack of resourcefulness. So how do you fully exploit and develop and utilize what you have to get what you need or what you want? Okay. Finally, you need to shift from letting yourself down to keeping promises to yourself. This is so vital because this begin to develop character and confidence in yourself. Even as you made the number one shift of responsibility, now you need to make sure that you are making promises that you can keep and developing more and more promises that you can keep to yourself. Because as you learn to keep promises to yourself, it gives you the confidence to do more and more. It gives you a sense of self-respect. And so at that particular time, you're no longer focusing on, when you do that, you're no longer focusing on, what's happening around me, but you're focusing on, this is the results that I want, and I will get that result. And you commit yourself to working smart and working hard to be able to achieve that result. And you don't give up until you give yourself that result, because you've learned to keep promises to yourself. By doing these 6 things, you shift your life from a place of complaining, from a place of focus, blaming other people, to a productive and beautiful place of proactivity. I want you to really take some time and watch this video again and reflect on where you are. Are you a reactive person? And how you can apply these 6 steps in your life. These 6 points in your life to change your life around. Thank you for watching.